All right, guys. So today we're going to talk about Pixar, and apparently they're changing their overall strategy about how they go about making content. Um, I I have to say, I I just find this so ridiculous right off the bat. Um, Basically, Pixar are now saying that they're going to be turning away from more personal, directorial films like Turning Red and Luca in favor of like sequels and more mass appeal type movies. And I truly don't understand the logic here. So let's get into all of it. So this all comes from a Bloomberg article, which I admittedly haven't read because it's behind a paywall on Bloomberg. But I have a couple things here that summarize it. So, maybe if I were to actually read the Bloomberg article, then maybe I would. Maybe people are just misquoting the article, and maybe it's not as bad as what I'm hearing, or maybe there's more logic behind it. But I don't. I'm not going to pay for the for the Bloomberg paywall. I'm just being real here. But anyways, let's just get started reading here. If you'll remember, Pixar enjoyed a string of successes for decades before it all started falling apart in 2018, when the longtime studio head John Lasseter was forced to resign under a cloud of sexual misconduct allegations. After that, Soul, Luca, and Turning Red were all released on Disney Plus. Keep that in mind; they were released on Disney Plus, and Pixar's audience began to expect the movies on their phones instead of movie theaters. So this right here is like the obvious problem with what's been happening with Pixar lately, and what has been like the heavy, in my opinion, like reason why all their movies have been bombing. Because they weren't in theaters, so they literally couldn't make money, and they were, and they put out like 3 movies on Disney Plus, conditioning audiences that Pixar is now a Disney Plus brand. It's no longer a premium theater brand. These are movies that you can watch on Disney Plus, and that's a viable way to watch Pixar movies. So just keep that in mind, okay? Which began to expect the movies on their phones instead of movie theaters, which certainly contributed to the financial issues, as Bloomberg reports. Then came Lightyear, a movie that impressed no one, and Elemental, a movie that, while not bad, was a proper box office bomb. You can check out the numbers for yourselves. So, yeah, if we head down here, Soul, Luca, Turning Red, big box office bombs. But again, it should just be noted that these are movies that were not like released in theaters until like very recently, when they were like, "Hey, special event, come watch Soul, Luca, and Turning Red in theaters." And basically nobody wanted to watch them because they were just like re-releases. And then again, Onward, I feel like there should also be an asterisk on Onward here, because that was a movie that released like right when the pandemic was starting. So that movie was heavily impacted by the pandemic as well. And then more recently, you have Lightyear and Elemental, which Lightyear did very badly. And Elemental definitely picked up steam and went under at a decent chunk of change. But it technically did bomb though, because the movie cost like $200 million to make, so it was a very expensive movie to make. With that kind of budget, you need around like $600 million in order to break even. So, anyways, if we continue reading here, the table above was based on the data from the Bloomberg article and our own research that updated it. As you can see, if we're not counting sequels and prequels, the last original hit that Pixar had on its hands was Coco. And it's just like, what point do you think you're trying to make? Yes, Coco is the last original movie that came out before the pandemic. Of course it's the last original movie. It's the last original hit. There should be asterisks on all of these movies here. They're not. These movies were not were either impacted by the pandemic or impacted by the fact that they were released on Disney Plus on the same day. Why are we looking at like Onward or Soul or Luca or Turning Red or Elemental as like evidences of failure? Because like, maybe you can make the argument that, oh, well, we looked at the Disney Plus viewership data, and on that front, it was a disappointment. I don't know if that's the case or not. I'm just using that as a hypothetical. Well, you only released original movies on Disney Plus. You have no idea if you had released like a sequel on Disney Plus if that would have done much better. You simply don't know. It's just I don't understand the logic of looking at these very like specific situations where you screwed your own movies over. Because by the way, like, these movies were not failures based off of the quality of them. Like, this was a corporate decision to make, like, this is a oh, sorry, let me actually restate that. The situation that Pixar is in now is not because of the quality of the movies. It is a corporate decision that was made to sacrifice Pixar, a lamb that they made Pixar the sacrificial lamb in order to try to artificially boost Disney Plus subscriptions. They ruined the Pixar brand. They no longer made it a premium brand. They turned it into a Disney Plus brand. And so, yeah, then when you go forward and you put out Lightyear and Elemental in theaters, people aren't just going to go back. You conditioned them. You did this. So why are you looking at Luca, Soul, and Turning Red as like failures that now you need to like switch back from? It's just, it's so stupid. Okay, sorry. we'll continue. So Coco, which came close to the 1 billion mark, before that it was Inside Out. On the other hand, sequels have been doing great. And in the last 15 years, 4 of them, Toy Story 3, 3 and 4, Finding Dory, Incredibles 2, all passed the mark, earning at least $1 billion worldwide. And sure, that's fair. Like, you know, sequels, they definitely do make a lot of money. This is why the studio is hopeful that Inside Out 2, a sequel to the highly successful original movie that was released in 2015, which also won an Oscar, might help them and earn close to $1 billion worldwide, a success that Pixar has not had since 2019. In fact, the total combined gross of the 6 movies released after Toy Story 4 is just over $1 billion, which is a horrible financial result for Pixar. And it's just so silly. Like, yes, these are all dealing with either shitty corporate decisions or COVID. Why are you why is there no sensible analysis here? It's just so weird. I just, and it's like, and let's actually look a little bit deeper. So they ruined the brand with Soul, Luca, and Turning Red by putting them on Disney Plus instead of movie theaters. Then you get to Lightyear. Now, again, sorry, just to be a bit more nuanced here. Yes, quality does matter. Lightyear was just a terrible movie. I mean, it was just bad. But I think when you look at this, this number here, it is in large part because you turned Disney Plus, or you turned Pixar into a Disney Plus brand. So people aren't going to show up to watch Lightyear. But hey, you're going to have to eat that cost because now you're trying to work it, you're trying to massage the brand back into a theatrical brand. So you put out Lightyear, it makes as little as it does. Then you put Elemental, and hey, it starts making more money. The brand is slowly coming back. Like, this is positive. Like, yes, you're losing money, but you put yourself in this situation. And by the way, it should just be noted, Lightyear is not an original movie. This is a prequel. Like, what are we, like, why are we, like, why are we blaming original movies when your non-original movie did worse than your original movie? Like, even if we're using their shitty logic, how is this not being talked about? How Lightyear, like, Buzz Lightyear is one of the most popular Pixar characters. It's just so ridiculous. Okay, and then over here it says, it remains to be seen whether this formula will work out. Inside Out 2 is coming out soon, and from what it seems, the movie is promising. The people at Pixar have also discussed a new Incredibles movie, and we also know that Toy Story 5 is coming out as well. as the strategy seems to be shifting, we are certainly going to get some new movies, and we hope that they're successful enough for Pixar to keep producing its magic. It's just so like this like weird thing where it's like, oh, we gotta make sequels, blah, 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 blah. Like the thing that makes me worried about that is that, like, are these sequels actually, like, are these sequels now being made just because we have to make them? Like the thing is that what Pixar just needs is great movies again. That's how you're going to repair the brand. You need to make it so that people are back at the point where they're like, oh, there's a Pixar movie out, or there's a new Pixar movie coming out. That's, oh yeah, it's going to be great. Like that, like I got to watch that because I just know it's going to be good because it's Pixar. That's what the brand needs. It doesn't just need more sequels. Like, will making a new Incredibles and a new Toy Story like probably make money? Sure. But that's like short-term financial gain. When you should be thinking about building the brand back. And by the way, I should just say that I didn't think Luca was particularly good, but Soul and Turning Red were great. If those movies had come out in theaters under a normal, non-COVID era box office environment, I think they would have been very successful. Especially Turning Red. I'm fairly certain that if that had come out in like 2017 or whatever, that would have been a very big crowd pleaser. So it's just such silly logic. It really just is. And then anyway, so then another thing from the Bloomberg article. So I'm pulling up this discussing film tweet here. It says, so yeah, this is where I got the mass appeal thing from. Pixar is now focusing on films with clear mass appeal, with less focus on directors' autobiographical tales, like Luca and Turning Red. The studio's movies should be less a pursuit of any director's catharsis and instead speak to a commonality of experience? What? Like, this is the problem. Pixar movies have always been like about like an artistic vision, I feel like. Like it's always been about like, hey, let's get a director to tell their very personal stories. Like Up. Up is a very personal story. You know what I mean? I don't know. Like now they're literally getting at the point where they're like, no, we don't want specific directors' creative visions. We don't want to tell like actual like personal stories anymore. It needs to appeal to literally everybody now. And it's just like, what? Like, because again, it just like obviously like they're pointing at the fact that Soul was like about like a music teacher or whatever. I definitely wonder if the director himself was a musician or something. Luca is about like these little boys and their friendship or whatever. Like I'm guessing that the director like had a similar situation to that. Turning Red was about like a little girl's experience, or they were a bunch of allegories to like, periods happening and whatever. And it's just like one of those things where it's like, like the idea that they looked at all of the situation, everything that I laid out when it comes to COVID, and then them stabbing Pixar in the back and like putting out these movies on Disney Plus. The fact that their reaction now is, oh well, clearly, it was the fact that these were personal stories about the director's personal experiences. Clearly, that's the problem here. It can't be us to blame. No, it can't possibly be our fault for being morons and ruining the Pixar brand. It's the director's fault. It's just so ridiculous. I don't know. And like I don't want to see Pixar like turn into Illumination. Like say what you will, right? Say what you will about, recent Pixar movies, but like I don't know, like I will take a Turning Red. I'll take a Soul. I'll take a Coco or whatever. Like I'll take these personal stories over a Super Mario Brothers movie any day. I just maybe that was a bad example to pick out because most people like that movie. I did not like that movie. Like I'll take that over Minions any day of the week. And but then again, Illumination movies make a lot of money. So I mean there is something to be said about that. That fuck good movies. Right? I guess. I don't know. Anyways, let me know what you think about this whole situation. I don't even understand the logic of it. I don't even because like at the end of the day, like I can understand like money grubbing corporations being money grubbing and doing things that are going to make them the most money. But even using that logic, I just don't understand how you don't get to the conclusion that, oh, well, we ruined the Pixar brand. So now let's make great movies again that are going to resuscitate the brand. Instead, it's like, hey, well, clearly it's the director's fault for not getting enough Disney Plus subscriptions. I don't even know what like metric they're going by there. Well, clearly it's the director's fault. Now we need to have less personal investment from the director. Now the director's voice needs to be heard less. We need to create mass appeal slop now. I just don't even understand how you get to that conclusion. But let me know what you think in the comments down below. I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.